Ooh-wee. I broke it, guys. Okay. Just refresh if you're not if it's not showing up for you. This is sad. I'm blaming Cyber for this, wherever you are, Cyber. So Explosion's check-in is been prepping for the trip, driving 6 hours to the mountains on Utah today. Oh my god, that's today?
Supposedly.
Been feeling unsettled about it, and for some reason, but it should be chill to hike more. It should be chill. 6 hours, that's sick. Dang. Word up. I mean, have fun then. Holy crap. I love Utah. I want to talk about Utah after this, but after our panic attack. We have a panic attack conversation that I still need to get to. No, Kiwi, I don't want people to talk to me about their cats. I was just saying, what I was saying was, people don't talk to me about their cats for a good reason. And so, I hear so little about them that I forget that they need to be bathed. I don't think of cats the same way I do as other pets. Titanium says, check in, feeling more in the groove as the week goes by. Forever trying to do a million things in a day, and I'm trying to enjoy the process. I feel that, Titanium. It's been rough. It's been rough. Cyber is slaying Apex with KM. Word up. I'm still blaming Cyber. Cyber, like, gave me their weird, contagious, bad internet. My internet was doing so good. Kwame says, check in. I took practice test yesterday and scored at 51%. 65 is passing. Oh. I need to double down on a few sections and try to do a better job of focusing. Music is coming along. I'm planning my first major project, an EP, but having problems creating a vision for it. Oh my goodness. We're not going to have time to talk about all these things, but you guys are bringing up a lot of good points. I'm going to work backwards and start at that. As an artist, it can be really difficult having like a vision or a narrative. Sorry. Do you ever start talking about something and then like... I just got the experience of when you start playing a game thinking it's going to be like a real quick grab and play. Like maybe you've seen the trailer, you've seen the gameplay trailer, and it looks like sick. People are like jumping off of the ceiling and they're shooting each other in slow motion and like using magic spells, and you're like, I want to play this. And you start playing it and you're like 2 hours in and you're still like talking and like learning the shopkeeper's name and picking a hair color, and you're just like, yo, just let me chop someone in half already. I can't have that artist vision conversation because it's actually really long. It's a really long conversation to have, and I don't think that I'll be able to really crush it. But Kwame, in terms of like artistic vision, I definitely know what it's like when you're making a project, and even if you're making good stuff, you're just like, yeah, but what does it all mean? Like, how can I make this more than just a bunch of sporadic good pieces of art? How can I make this like a project, a vision, a narrative, a story that people can follow? And it's very difficult. It's a very difficult thing to do. Sometimes it kind of all just falls together, and other times you kind of have to force it. It's a nightmare. So I feel you on that, and I'm sending you good vibes. I'm sure you'll get through it. You seem determined, if not anything else, and I would say that's more than half the battle, right? It's more than half the battle. Going back a little bit more, touching on another topic that somebody brought up during the medley was panic attacks. I talked about having a slow motion panic attack before the stream. And somebody talking about anxiety and living in New York City. So these two kind of combine, or having a panic attack in New York when they went for the first time. I think a lot of us here and a lot of us in the world have a lot of like weird, different relationships with anxiety. I think that like, I think that when somebody says, I have anxiety. Wait, hold on. Is this who I think it is? It is. Sorry, this doesn't matter. I don't want to train wreck the stream. Somebody says I have anxiety, and it's like, yeah, that's fair. But I think everybody just has a different relationship with anxiety, and there's a lot more nuance to it than simply having anxiety, right? I think there's things that can give everybody anxiety. I think even the coolest, calmest, chillest person can be gifted anxiety in the right circumstances, right? Like if the conditions are right. you can make an anxious person. And I do think some people grow from that by like trial by fire, you know. Like I had a lot of anxiety, and something like moving to a big city or going to a city like New York, moving to a city like LA was like, yo, I don't know how I'm gonna like, you know, like get in. How am I gonna get a job, get a place, find a career if I'm so like soft spoken and unsure of myself and don't have a lot of confidence? And it's weird because you could tell somebody, well, move to a big city and all will be well, but that's not necessarily true, right? It's like throwing a kid that can't swim into a pool and making them learn how to swim. They might learn how to swim, but they might die. There's a little chance that they might die, right? People don't like to talk about that part. People don't like to talk about the risk of death. And so I know that people need different things in order to overcome those like anxious things. Mine was just throwing myself into the thing, right? Me getting better as a musician, I just joined a band. I talk sometimes about when I joined my first band. I joined on bass guitar, which was not really my primary instrument. It wasn't even an instrument that I had a lot of experience with. I didn't even own a guitar pick. I got that bass guitar and joined the band like, I want to say like a couple of weeks, maybe a month later. I joined my first band with that bass guitar, and I wasn't very good, but I just forced myself to get better very quickly because we were like playing shows and doing rehearsals and stuff like that. And I learned how to be a better DJ by just starting to DJ shows. I didn't have like a sick DJ controller in my bedroom that I got to practice on for months. I wasn't going into like Guitar Center like you see some people doing and then just like playing on the CDJs in Guitar Center. I didn't get to do that. I kind of just got a show, brute forced my way in, and then learned in a very stressful environment. And that's definitely not everybody's thing. Some people need to have like a little bit of prep, right? They need to have some prep before they can get into the like fighting stance, I suppose. And so all that said, sometimes like people will say that they can't do something because of their anxiety, and I definitely feel that. But I think kind of like anything else, I think you have to you don't have to, but I think it helps to find ways to just do the thing. It's almost like some people are like too short to drive, right? They're too short for a conventional car, but we've like come up with weird like gadgets and stuff like that like will make the car drivable for you. Or how like somebody can't see so they can't read a book, and we've come up with like braille and other ways to tell stories to people who are sight impaired. I think that for me, there's a lot of things that like anxiety makes it difficult to be a musician, or especially be a performing one, and I've just cheated a lot of those things. I've grown a lot too, but like I've like cheated a lot of things. I talk about trying to recreate my bedroom when I play on stage, recreate this like very comfortable environment, like playing in my socks, playing in like a specific outfit, stuff like that, kind of like minimizing the amount of anxiety, not dispelling it, but just making it manageable. I think that's like a thing that a lot of people would probably benefit from knowing. It's not like people who are performing artists or people who are artists, period, don't have anxiety. And it's not like they one day triumphantly overcame anxiety and they like got rid of it, like somebody gets rid of like a mole or something. Like you just figure out a way to survive with it, I think. I noticed I've made some of my more impressive work under pressure, says Titanium. Yeah, right? Same. Well, I would say that I would say a lot of my most impactful work was made under pressure. I don't know if it was more impressive to me or not, but it definitely is. The songs that people bring up to me the most are the ones that I made very quickly and without second guessing myself too much. And the tracks that I mulled over for months and months to a year and really tried to tweak and perfect, those are the ones that people kind of, didn't seem to connect with as much. It's an interesting observation. But I'll leave panic attacks now, because I did have one. I did have one this morning. But my panic attacks are very different than somebody else's, for sure. Anxiety attack, panic attack. They're going wild. And that kind of segues us into the other conversation I wanted to have, which was the relationship between art and artists, or the relationship between artists and their art, maybe, is a better way to put that. Yeah, I agree with this, Titanium. when I make beat battles, those beats are always harder sounding. Yeah, when you're doing something like with constraints, uh, it's weird how that stuff just kind of seems to shine a little bit brighter. Appreciate you talking about anxiety. It can make a big difference for small creators. Yeah, I think the problem, or a problem, not necessarily specifically with anxiety, but a problem that I try to address is just misinformation, I guess, about what art is. I think that it benefits some people to maintain some level of mystique or mystery when they're talking about art, but I don't. Like, if somebody's like, hey Omni, how did you make this thing? I'll usually tell them. Or if they're like, hey Omni, how do you do blank? I'll be real if I just do not know. I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I'm not very good at doing blank thing, but maybe I just lucked out into this, you know? A lot of careers are, you know, skill and motive, but there's some luck involved too, you know? Sometimes I was just like in the right place at the right time, or sometimes I just, you know, tweaked the knob a weird way, or sometimes I was trying to hit this chord, but I hit this chord and I was like, oh, that kind of sounds fun, and that made the song, you know? It wasn't like I knew really what I was doing. I just kind of fell into something by brute forcing my way through. And I think that things like anxiety, at least the way I see anxiety talked about a lot, is people talk about it in almost in the same vein that they talk about talent. People will say, hold, I gotta wait for the mail to leave. He's gonna do the thing. Hey, what's up, Carrot? Welcome back. We talking about learning music? Kind of. We're talking for like I'm doing a comparison between the way people talk about anxiety and the way people talk about talent. People talk about these things as if they're like a birthmark, right? Like you're just born with this thing and it grows with you and it expands with you. And if you don't have it, you can't get it. And if you have it, you can't get rid of it. And I think what's more apt is if you want to do something, everybody has a different starting point, right? Like maybe somebody is just genetically thinner than somebody else. That doesn't mean that it's impossible for both of those people to change their body shape, but it's going to take a different amount of effort and different things, right? Maybe there's somebody that has like so much social anxiety that they can't like talk on the phone. Actually, that's not a good example because I hate talking on the phone. Maybe somebody has so much social anxiety that they can't meet new people. Like they can't meet new people even if they're being introduced. They just like, they're really uncomfortable. They're trying to jump out of their skin. They're sweating, they're itching, whatever. Maybe there's somebody like that. I personally am not like that. If somebody's introducing me to somebody else, we're cool. I'm good. Thank you, Cyber. If somebody's introducing me to somebody else, like, we're good, everything's fine. That's funny, Cyber, though, because the internet keeps cutting out, so it doesn't really mean anything. But I do have it does mean so, because I have a clock. I do have a clock that's in the bottom right hand of my computer. So I am always looking at the time whenever I look at the chat. And it is like 10:45, so there's like 15 minutes until 11 o'clock. But I will say, people can change things, right? Maybe I have like the body and the mental aptitude or the interest or drive or stubbornness that helps me learn piano, right? Me being super persistent and me being a lover of music, you know, these things help me be a better piano player. But there's a lot of things about me, guys, that are natural parts of my personality that actually make me worse at learning how to play piano. All of the same stubbornness that allows me to stick with it is the same type of stubbornness that allows me to not grow. You know, there's a lot of give and take when it comes to those things. And the way people seem to talk about anxiety a lot of the time is they'll say, I have anxiety, therefore I can't blank, 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 or blank. And they'll look at somebody like me, or they'll look at another artist, and they'll go like, good for you that you don't have anxiety because you do X, Y, and Z. And I would never be able to do those things because of my aforementioned anxiety. I wouldn't be able to like stream every day. I wouldn't be able to go on tour. I wouldn't be able to reach out to other artists or send my music to strangers and things like that. And I also have anxiety about those things. I've just either brute forced my way through, or I've slowly like altered my approach to a lot of those things, that makes it a little bit easier for me. Whether it's physically or mentally, sometimes emotionally, there is a lot of like detachment. For example, I have so many songs. So many songs, right? Let's say I had 2 songs. Let's say my 2 songs were Bon Bon. If that was one of my songs, and my second song was Love Letters. And somebody said, I don't like your music. And I said, okay. And they, have you heard Bon Bon? And they said, I heard it, I hate it. And I said, okay, have you heard Love Letters? And they said, I've heard it, can't stand it. What a trash song. I would feel away maybe, you know, because these are my only 2 songs and I'm very, very attached to them because they're my only 2 songs. At this point I have so many songs and I've like emotionally divorced myself from a lot of them when I release them, which maybe or may not be healthy. You know, people talk about what is healthy relationship with your art and what isn't, but I like kind of emotionally detached from a lot of my music once it goes to Spotify. When I'm working on something, when you guys come into the Friday streams and you see me working on Dropout or something like that, if somebody came into that stream and they were like, I kind of hate this, or this ain't hitting, maybe I would feel a way about it, maybe, you know? But when it comes time to send that baby off to distribution, it's like I remove it. I remove it from me. And after that, any type of like a horrible comment it gets, I'm like, whatever, baby. It's just one of the songs I made. I was in a stream recently, and this wasn't that recent, maybe a month ago, and I can't remember what song I was working on, to be honest, but I was just working on, you know, the little ideas that I usually do in the production stream. And somebody said, oh, I can't remember what their exact wording was. It was like, this is underwhelming, or it was like, if I'm being honest, this is underwhelming, what you're working on. They said something to that effect. And I thought to myself, I'm not upset about this comment because I've already made these, like, I've like signed contracts in my head that are like, here are the reasons why I don't care. The reason why I don't care is because I've only been working on it for 2 hours and I'm just messing around. I didn't pick this BPM and I'm making like a track that wouldn't normally be in my genre. Like I have this list of reasons why the weird anxiety I have with people not liking my music doesn't hurt my feelings. In that scenario. Oh, Explosion remembers them. Yeah. And so it's like, it's not that I don't care that this person doesn't like my music. It's just that I've mentally, like, created a bunch of funny loopholes that allow me to, like, be okay if somebody's like, yo, this is trash. And so I think that's what it is. It's not necessarily getting rid of anxiety. It's just living with it and then, like, finding weird ways to, like, be chill about, you know, things like that. Because you're going to run into stuff like that. People, because I know people personally that are like, whew, not gonna, not naming names, but I know people that like I've gone and hung out with, and they're so tightly wound and anxious all the time that like even just sitting down and ordering from like I have to order their food for them from like a waiter, and they're like my friends, you know, I love these people, but part of me thinks in my head like, dang, like, how would this person manage? Like, how would this person manage in a place like Manhattan? How would they manage if they had to have, like, an art career and they didn't have, like, a manager, like, holding their hand and taking them around? Like, I was like, it would be really, really tough. And so, yeah, I don't think you get rid of it. I think you manage it. Managing anxiety, right? Managing it. Everything's manageable to an extent. I logged it into my brain because your response was incredibly calm and graceful. I don't remember what I said to that person, Explosion. But I would have remembered if I got upset. I definitely didn't get upset. People say the wildest things to me. That happened in a stream, but people say the wildest things in like comments and DMs and stuff like that. And I think, you know, I try to be nice. I try to be nice because I've already like done the things in my head. Izzy says, I seriously considered changing my major because I couldn't bring myself to attend networking events. And I realized that literally anything I could possibly go into requires networking. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Izzy, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I kind of did that same thing. I kind of went through that same thing. Somebody told me, this man named Devin Burko, who recorded my first ever show as Omniboy. Respect to Devin Burko. He said to me, and I think this is the thing a lot of people say, but for whatever reason when he said it, it stuck with me. He was like, Omni, nobody cares about you. And he was like, so if you don't care about you, don't expect anybody else to. Like, he was like, it's your job to make other people care. They're not just gonna care, bro. Like, you gotta care already. So if you're gonna come... It was because I was trying to hire him for a thing, and he was asking me what, like, my goals were, like, what my like, mission plan was for the video he was shooting, and I was kind of, like, wishy-washy, like, oh, I don't know, like, maybe if you can do this, and maybe if it costs this, I don't know, man, like, whatever you think is best. Like, I came to him like that, and he was like, yo, if you don't know what you want, don't expect anybody else to know. If you don't care about your art like this, then I'm not going to either, bro. He was like, you got to make other people care. If you don't care, leave. And he was very mean, but I think it was what I probably needed to hear at that moment. And since then, it's like, yeah, you know, like, you have to, like, you have to try to care. And so networking, yeah, like, no matter what you get into, like, you're gonna have to be able to stand in the ring and go, like, I care about me. And then, like, just be okay when, like, 10 people go, like, I don't. And then 2 people go like, I guess I kind of do. Like, I don't know. This person seems kind of cool. Carrot says the hardest part is physical responses to anxiety. I can agree with this. Before I get in a physical fight, actually, I'll talk about that later. Because we're running out of time now. And me getting into physical fights is a completely different conversation for a different stream. Someone got mad at me on stream for talking too long on line work, like redoing the line work over and over. Oh. Something, I actually got upset not upset, but like impatient in a stream earlier, and I do kind of want to talk about it because it's going to take 2 seconds before we go to the news, which we're going to have to rush through, apparently. I can understand that, says Explosion. They can't be all bangers, but I appreciate you hanging out, listening either way. Oh, is that what I said? You remember what I said? That sounds like something I would say. Yeah, they can't be all bangers. Like, that's funny. I don't remember saying that. But yeah, I mean, I have what, like 200 and something songs? Like, if all of my songs were sick, guys, if all 200 of my songs were sick, we wouldn't be here. If all of my songs were like solid gold, I wouldn't be on Twitch streaming, would I? I would be, I don't know, I'd be living in a castle somewhere. 200 amazing songs, all of them platinum. I'd be like living at, I don't know, Chateau Omniboy. I would be living on in a castle and a mountain, and you guys would never hear from me. I wouldn't tweet. I wouldn't have an Instagram account. I would have a lion. And so much cow piss. I would have genetically altered a cow that just produces fresh cow piss from its udders. I guess it would be a little warm if it came out. I might warm up my cow piss one day. Actually, I've left a can and gone and drank it the next morning, and it was kind of warm, and it still tasted good. Fresh from the tea, cow piss might actually work. If we can do that. If Boston Dynamics can do that. Self-management is tough, says Kiwi. You're a Star Omni and you do a great job. Thanks, Kiwi. I appreciate that. Am I managing myself? Liana's doing some of the work, right? Conventions made me networking pilled. So much opportunity to networking. Word. I feel that. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the chat. It is a very good point, Jaime. Jesse says, in a lot of my experience, most people don't even know what they like. It's always weird for me when people tell me they don't like something I'm working on. Because when I ask why, they can't vocalize it. Yeah. I might honestly start saying that, to be honest, says Unbi. I think I'm too nice when people get all wishy-washy and want me to sacrifice on their behalf. Yeah, I mean, I'll address that at the very bottom, I promise, once I catch up with the stream. It feels like a non-opinion. Yeah, just being like, I don't like this. It's like, what? Why? What can I do to improve it? They're like, it doesn't slap. I'm like, it doesn't? How can I make this one slap? They're like, I don't know. Be Catronata. Just be Carmack. And I promise it'll slap. Intermediate struck with me, looked out the window, shrugged and smiled. I don't want to get too much into that, but sometimes my, what's the word? My carefree and like c'est la vie mentality when people have disparaging things to say about my art actually makes them angrier. And so I do have to even be careful about that. I have had people just be like, yo, I didn't like that, or I came here for this, and like, you're not doing it. Like, yo, bro, like, play Fur Elise. Fur Elise hits me like no other. Can you play Fur Elise? And I'm like, I actually don't play covers. I just play original stuff. And it's like, man, then why you on the piano? I came in here to hear covers. This is trash. You're trash. This ain't even good. And then I kind of laugh and like shrug. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not that good at piano. I don't know what I'm not like a A prodigy pianist? That's not what it says in the caption. They get mad. Anyways, Carrot says Calpus. No, Calpus. Calpus cow. I would love that. I would love that. I would love that. That reminds me of Michael Reeves' Robo-Dog, that peas beer. I wish I drank. That sounds like it would be cool. Wishy Washy Baby. Sounds like a good song title. Cyber. Bro, do you make beats? I get it all the time. Umbe. Jesse says, it always feels like you take the irrational, bottle it up and toss it somewhere. The irrational, bottle it up and toss it somewhere. I miss Gabriel. People get really demanding sometimes. This is true, Titanium. There are probably enough beat makers on Twitch as it stands. There's definitely more than enough. My thing when people have negative things to say about music, like, listen, guys. I'm gonna lightning around through this because we do need to get to news, but I love Fast and Furious, right? Yes, Omni, you love Fast and Furious. I love Kingdom Hearts, right? Yes, Omni, you love Kingdom Hearts. What else do I love? Metal Gear Solid. I like a lot of things that are huge, and if somebody came to me to my face and said that thing sucks, I would be like, yeah, I get it. I can get how somebody can't like the Fast and Furious movies. I can see how somebody would hate the Kingdom Hearts series. I can see how somebody would not like Metal Gear Solid, but I personally like it. And usually, when people say certain things, like, catch me in my stream. Catch me in my stream talking about somebody else's music. I very rarely will say somebody's music is just bad, right? I talk about artists that I have music that I don't really connect to. But you never say that somebody's art is bad. And I think that the reason that a lot of people say things like that is because they aren't really familiar with the relationship artists have to art, which was what this whole conversation was about, right? What the relationship that artists have to art. You typically don't say bad things about them. You could say to yourself, like, or to your friends, like, yo, I don't like so-and-so's baby. Her baby sucks. Her baby's loud. That baby stinks. That baby's ugly as heck. Baby looks like a freaking Pokemon. Baby looks like Poliwhirl or something. And then when homie's around and has their baby, you say nice things because the relationship between a parent and their child is, like, different. And your words about the baby isn't going to, like, that's not going to help anything, right? Even if you don't like this baby. You guys know how I feel about cats, right? You guys know I don't like cats. I'm not really a cat person. But I'm not going to say anything mean about anybody's cat specifically, you know? Somebody had a cat that they would talk about. I think Ava, was it Ava? Somebody had a cat in the stream that they would talk about. And I was always nice about their cat. Because it's not about cats, it's about people's relationships with the thing. You know, and I think people don't understand that when you're an artist and you're making art, that thing is like it's stupid and it sounds really cheesy and overly, like, saccharine, but it's like a part of you. And so some people that don't divorce themselves from their art much, when you insult their art, they can take that as like an insult to them. Telling somebody their art is bad is almost like telling them they're ugly. And so most people wouldn't say that, you know? Most people wouldn't go up to an artist and to their face say, like, yo, you mad ugly. But people seem to have, like, a different amount of, like, liberal approaches when it comes to talking about their art. They'll say, like, yo, this is trash, or like, this is goofy looking. And I'm not saying you can't think those things. We all do, right? I've heard songs and I've said out loud to, like, me, my friends, or my roommate, like, yo, this is dookie. This is fresh as dookie. This is a fresh dunk in the commode. But, you know, you don't say that to the artist. Because there's a more nuanced conversation to happen when it comes to, like, is this song bad? No. What am I actually saying? I'm saying I didn't connect with this song for a myriad of reasons. It wasn't for me. But the song wasn't bad. It's just a piece of art. Anyways, it's very important to be able to separate the technical execution from the art itself, says Jesse. Yeah, you know. There's a lot of Grammy-winning, poorly produced songs. And then there's a lot of songs that sound crystal clean, like a Zed-produced track, that are sitting at around 12 plays on SoundCloud and nobody cares about, you know? Art's art. It's got to connect with people. If it didn't connect with you, that's okay, though. You gotta... I don't know. Anyways, we gotta go to news.
Time to do the news. I think it's time to do the news. It's definitely time to do the news. Do the news.
You know, the clap has a Clef has like this really interesting lag on it where it like kind of has to like rev up. It like comes in kind of slow, like a lawnmower, and I appreciate the attention to detail and calling it in, Liana. Thank you again, guys. For those of you that are new to the stream, first order of business for the news, I usually like to recommend a song that I would like you all to listen to. Today's song is
Time to do the news.
Why Can't We Hear the News Theme?
I think it's time to do the news.
Can you guys hear it too? I can hear it.
Definitely time to do the news. Do the news.
Could you guys hear it? Could you guys hear the news theme, or was I just sitting here like dancing to nothing? Sorry. Anyways, I could hear it for whatever reason. And I don't know why. Today's song is Ubiquity. Today's song is Ubiquity by Ali Love, Nicki, Nighttime, and Breakbot. So Ali Love is like an electronica artist. Wait, hold on. Let me back up. No, let me talk about the artist first. Ali Love is like an electronica artist. If you're unfamiliar with them, please listen to their music if you like this song and would like to hear more. Nicki, Nighttime is more of like a house EDM person. And if you like this, maybe there's more of them that you can listen to that if that would fit your fancy. But also, the third name, Breakbot, is like a French, old, like funky Bloghouse era new disco act. The reason that I'm getting into all three of those acts and what they make is because this is, of course, a collaboration between all three. And I feel like if you like the song, for me, it's almost like looking at the movie Avengers, right? You go look at Avengers. You go look at the movie Avengers, and you can like it and enjoy the movie, even if you haven't seen Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and Hulk? Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Hulk? I guess that is the big... Anyways, even if you haven't seen those initial movies, you can still enjoy Avengers. You can still enjoy this song. But a lot of the stylistic choices are definitely informed by these artists, if you are familiar with their catalogs, or their just sound and their characteristics. Now, let me talk about the actual song. Why am I recommending this song for you today? Well, it's a very, very good song. Very high energy, very funky, very cool. You can, Izzy, while I continue with the news. You can. But why else am I recommending this song? Yes, it's a good song, but also, if you remember, in a previous stream I talked about a song that was Korean. It was by the band Medley or Thief. And it felt very informed and inspired by a lot of South American rhythms and chords, like chord structures. This kind of cool island jazz vibe, even though it was a rock song. And this song is informed by so much. And one of the reasons that I picked this song is because this song is made by three artists that are inspired by completely different things, but it all comes together really nice. For those of you that are familiar with Breakbot, he does have this like funkier new disco sound. And if you remember in a previous stream, I did talk about how disco, American disco, had inspired a lot of acts around the world, creating things in France like new disco and creating things in Japan like city pop. And if you listen to this song, you can hear that disco vibe, but it's been removed so much, right? It's been removed by modern disco, and then French disco, and then new disco, and now this collaboration. It's been removed so much that if you listen to it, you can definitely hear some of that disco vibe in there. Now, if we're talking Nicki Nighttime, that really big house, larger-than-life EDM sound, if you listen to this song, you can definitely hear that as well. Something that's been going on for a really long time, right? Like, how old is house? We can talk about house for an entire 2-hour stream if we wanted to. The different permutations and, like, evolutionary steps that it's gone through to get to where it is today. The much more, I would say, minimal house. The more deep house. Think of, like, something like Disclosure. Everybody remembers the Disclosure and Sam Smith song. Or you can talk like electro house, like you can think of something like Zed. Two sounds that are so far removed, but their home still kind of falls on those house foundations. This song has that. And then if we're talking about Ali Love, that electronica kind of like weirder sound that I feel like is more at home in Europe. Europe seems to do it, and the UK a little bit, maybe if not better, definitely more often than the US does it. But that kind of sound that like acts like acts like totally enormous extinct dinosaurs, who I recommended earlier in the medleys, or a sound like what's that artist? The two dudes. They have the music in the Geico commercial. You remind me. I can't think of it, but somebody in the stream knows who I'm talking about. Those people. You can hear all of that coming together in this song. And one of the main reasons I like this song, it's just a really good song, but one of the main reasons I like this is because you can just pick out all of the, oh, there's like the string stab that would be from its origins in disco music. Here's this riser that would be from its origins in house music. There's so much in this song. And on top of that, it's just super catchy. Ubiquity. It's so good. Ubiquity. It's so good. It's so good. Anyways, please go listen to Ubiquity by Ollie Love, Nikki Nighttime, and Breakbot. That's going to be added to the playlist. If you want to know about the recent songs that were added to the Morning Medley playlist, you can type !Rex in the chat and it'll bring it up. It was brought up a little bit earlier, but if you don't want to scroll up, or if in any future stream you want to bring it up, that is the command for it. Now, really quickly to go through my releases, I do have several releases and EPs and albums for you all to listen to. They are as follows. Tall Tales, Signals. Tall Tales, Signals. I feel like if I just say them in a stretch, maybe... I'm going to put and between them. How about that? Because it sounds like maybe Tall Tales, Signals is its own thing. So... Tall Tales and Signals and House of Omni and Nice Dream and Love Dream and Speed Dream and Daydream and Lush Dream and Quick Breath and Ego Death can be listened to on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. While you're on YouTube, I have some exclusives also on YouTube, like remixes, special song videos, stuff like that. Things like French Lavender, if you're familiar with that song. As he says, my suggestion, is Kever Keith, if I'm saying that right, is playing Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep and so close to becoming affiliated. Ooh, I do like helping people get affiliated if I can. That was kind of dancing around key lime chords. Was it? Key lime chords are like at there's a few chord structures that are at like my core chord structures. This is one of them. And so a lot of songs... but when I start naming the platforms, that comes from Chaser, right? So that one comes from Soul Chords says... Yes. Soul chords. I didn't tell the keyboard to go to organ, but it sure did, didn't it? Oh, you know what? Hold on. Why is 0 an organ sound? Oh, Janitor sounds lit in that sound. Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad, right? For anybody else on the stream, somebody was talking about the Janitor and his Walk a Man song from the production streams. We all return to a 0 eventually. Organ is the origin? Oh, that's dark. So I hope we covered a little bit of ground. Sorry if the anxiety and art and artists conversation was a little bit of a downer. We were going to continue that conversation though. The relationship between artists and their art is so... Today's Wednesday. I want to have a good conversation tomorrow before the production stream. I'll let you guys choose, but it's either going to be, it could be both, but the conversation will probably be, if I can remember, the relationship between artists and art, and the relationship, this weird very, very bad three-way. This horrible three-way relationship between art, artists, and the internet. It's horrible, guys. It's one of the worst relationships I've seen in my entire life. Take me out to the ball game, says Aimless and Brainless. Okay, that covers everything though. But tomorrow we'll get into the hello, Algerain boy. We get a lot of boys coming in here. A lot of people with boy in the name. I like it. Makes me feel a little bit in good company. But thank you, everybody. I apologize about the stream cutting out twice. I don't know. I was talking in the stream yesterday about how, because Cyber was having really bad internet, and I was talking about how the internet has been uncharacteristically good for me the past couple of months. But, yeah, I don't... Is it Algerian E-Boy? Sorry. Because I did say Algerian. It would be bringing up that I said Algerian. Is it Algerian boy, or is it Algerian E-Boy? Am I an E-Boy? I'm not an E-Boy. I don't even know why I asked that. But tomorrow, hopefully the internet does well, because that was bad. That was bad. But thank you, everybody, for sticking with it through... I'm in tears right now. Wait, I'm so sorry. Oh, boy. I'd be ranting about art versus artists on the internet, like, every day on my life, probably. Yeah, I think it's an important, cool conversation to have, especially with the way, that relationship seems to be changing right now. At least for me. I don't know if it's changing for everybody, but it is for me. But, UR says, Leon, I am an E-Boy. Ooh, finally, I belong somewhere. Great conversation today, says, Jaime. Thank you, Jaime. We didn't get, I don't know if you checked the suggestion, Liana, for the raid of the person that's playing through Birth by Sleep. We can raid them, though. I just can't from where I'm sitting. If I don't actually know, I gotta talk to Liana later. Leon, I gotta talk to you later, but yes, I've got it ready. Oh, Leon's got, oh my god, thank you. This is great. This is wild. You guys are so good. You guys are so good at this. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. You remember the outside cam, like, freaking busted a big one? Cam Punk is streaming again, says, Cam Punk. Whoa, really? I thought Cam Punk was playing Apex with Cyber. Is Cam Punk streaming playing Apex with Cyber? I'm gonna play the theme now. This is the morning medley theme. If you have any last minute comments or questions or concerns, now would be a good time to bring them up. Because after this I will start the farewells and then we'll go raid this other person. However, if you... Oh. so much, everybody, for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I do really appreciate it. We're going to get this raid. And I hope you all have a really good rest of your Wednesday. Hopefully I see you here for tomorrow's stream, Morning Medley episode 349. But until then, take care of your guys' selves and take care of each other. Sick. Abo, everyone.